got a guide on using these press tools to install the bearings into a giant frame. The thing about running tools that are specific to pivot points and specific to certain frames is that you only have to do a partial strip down. That means you don't have to take your entire bike apart to use a vise or a socket. You don't have to have it in individual components so that it's much easier to handle. You can get away with just removing a couple of bolts, getting the linkage out of the way, and then you can get into different components. With this tool, when you're using the press tools, all of the drifts have this cutaway section, so that when you press it in, you're only applying force or pressure to this outer race, so you can't actually damage the bearings. If you use a socket set, you have to be 100% sure that you're only putting pressure on this outer race and pushing it in that way. If you touch the inner race, or if you hit this seal, more likely than not you will crush the cage that sits beneath that. And if you distort this seal, you'll take away its weatherproofing, its waterproof capacity. So if I take my drift and I put it next to the bearing, I can determine whether it's the right size. You can see that this obviously fits the bearing, so it's the right size of drift. Once I've made sure I've got the right size of drift, what I want to do then is just attach that onto there. Once I get that done, I just take my backing plate. Now this part of the housing there is slightly raised, so you want to have the backing plate turned. If you try and put it in there and it's sitting off centre, you would just turn it so that it fits. You want to make sure that this is nice and flush. You can check it's flush by coming to the front and just making sure. All you have to do is slide that into there, tighten this up, once it's tight enough and you're at the point where you can't do any more with your fingers, then you simply get your two 13mm spanners and rotate this in. Now the design of this tool means that it should align itself. There shouldn't be any issues with alignment. It will be a nice smooth transition when you're pressing it in. The force isn't really that much. Once you feel it biting, just ease off. Take this out of the way. Have a look at the back of the housing and make sure that it's nice and flush. There's no space. That's fine. That's exactly what it should be. For this next bearing, don't worry about rearranging this and repositioning it and mucking about. You want to find the best position you can to get into the bearing. I reckon that should do it. The next press is a slightly different design, in that it doesn't have this very fancy machined part to it. It's just a standard backing plate for alignment. This is the backing plate, the standard backing plate's here, and it just fits into there. And then all you need to do is find the right size drift again. So say you thought it was that one, obviously it's not. You move on to this one, and you get that's the right one. Into that again. To the backing plate. And two 13mm spanners again, just to press this in. Exact same technique again. Once you feel it starting to bite, just ease off the pressure. I can feel it biting there, so I'm going to ease off that. With this little tool I can apply a good amount of force, but I don't really want to damage anything. And that's basically how the tools work. Fairly simple.